3 days that the Tar Heels have welcomed a ranked team into this building, but looking for similar results here tonight.
Lots of great matchups to talk about heading into this one. Will be really interesting to see how each coach plays it. It'll be Nance and Omier. Kip Kissinger gets us going, and Miami with the opening possession of the night. Miami, a terrific offensive team. They're averaging 79 points per game, and in this 4-game winning streak, Corey, they have averaged 86 points per game, but they come up empty on their first trip.
And they've been doing a lot of that by hot shooting by the guy that gets the first look. Nijel Pack off the mark on the first one.
You want to see Armando Bacot get a touch just about every time down the floor for the Heels.
Absolutely. They've got to play inside out through number 5.
He's got a height advantage on Norchad Omier. Omier's only 6'7", but tough as nails. It'll be Pete Nance from the perimeter, missing the 3.
You mentioned the height advantage, but the strength advantage may actually go to Omier.
Now look at this Miami team. It's an experienced group. A lot of guys who have been around, whether it's with Miami or elsewhere, and a very cohesive unit that Jim Larrañaga has.
They absolutely do that. Great chemistry for this team. Jim Larrañaga talked to us about that earlier today.
16 on the clock as the Canes inbound. Wooga Poplar gets it into Jordan Miller. Little step back jumper won't go, but the rebound down to Caleb Love, who is coming off what Hubert Davis says is the best game he has played in his 3 years as a Tar Heel at Winter Clemson on Saturday.
And Dan, I've watched Caleb Love a lot over his past 3 years, and I agree wholeheartedly with Hubert Davis. It wasn't only his scoring, but his efficiency throughout that game on Saturday.
6 for 9 from 3, 23 points on the afternoon, and he knocks down his first one tonight. Yeah, but to your point, Coach Davis said it wasn't just the efficiency, it was the passing, the shot selection, the defense, all-round game from Caleb Love.
And the shot selection, in my opinion, is number 1 on the priority for Caleb Love each and every time out.
Tough shot, and it'll go for Wooga Poplar, a sophomore from Philadelphia. This is a high-ceiling guy. He's not getting as many touches because of the other guys on the team, but he feels like a breakout candidate next year.
He really does, and averaging 10 points a game over his last 6, continues to be aggressive as Caleb Love finds Armando Bacot for the easy bucket.
The assist to Love, the bucket for Bacot. 5-2 Carolina early. So what a backcourt Miami's got. Nijel Pack, first team All Big 12 at Kansas State last year. Isaiah Wong could easily be, should be, first team All ACC this year.
Then Miami in the conversation for best backcourt in the ACC with these two guys.
And that guy's pretty good too. Jordan Miller. Jim Larrañaga thinks he's the most underrated player in the country.
And that's why they may actually be the best backcourt, because Jordan Miller's a guard. Yeah. So you're really talking about 4 guards across the line for Miami in their starting lineup.
And we shouldn't be surprised to see maybe Hubert Davis downsize, get Leaky Black on him. The steal by Isaiah Wong. And Caleb Love called for the foul as Wong went up strong to try to finish that.
And not a popular call. From this angle, it looked like a lot of basketball by Caleb Love. And that was a lot of basketball by Caleb Love coming in for that block shot.
As you say, the crowd didn't like it one bit. They see it on the scoreboards here at the Dean Dome. Hubert Davis' second year as the head coach of the Tar Heels, and of course took them all the way to the NCAA championship game last year. We were up talking to Coach Davis in his office before the game. He's got a lot of his jerseys from his playing days, photos of both his family and moments, and one of the most outstanding collection of game-worn shoes you are ever going to see.
Absolutely. That's what you were most concerned about. And I heard you ask him, hey, Coach, what size do you wear, by the way?
He liked my jacket. Maybe I'll trade in my jacket for some shoes.
Everybody loved your jacket today.
R.J. Davis, a D-point. And Poplar skies for the rebound. Miami and Carolina met last year down in Coral Gables. All Hurricanes. They won 85-57 in that one. And Nijel Pack misses a shot and then compounds the problem by committing a foul, which is not going to be that popular with Jim Larrañaga. And Larrañaga has done very well, relatively speaking, against Carolina in his time at Miami. 7-10 against the Tar Heels, 8-9 against the Blue Devils. Those are really good numbers going up against the Blue Bloods.
They are great numbers, and when you consider the fact that he is 3-4 in this building, an opportunity to get to 500, very few coaches can say that, especially here in the Dino.
Hands to Baycott. Good defensive play there by Wong. Miami, an Elite 8 team a year ago as a 10 seed. Right now, Joe Lunardi's got them as a 5 seed. They are ranked 15th in the nation. Nance, a little high-low, tipped away by O'Meara. And the Tar Heels making a concerted effort to get Baycott the ball early and a push on Norchad O'Meara.
One of the things you're going to have to watch throughout this game is the battle between Armando Baycott and Norchad O'Meara. O'Meara is maybe the strongest player in the ACC. Talked about moving to Oak Tree. That's what it's kind of like dealing with him on the post.
Nance a miss. Leaky Black with a rebound and a putback. Carolina back on top. You know, sometimes you forget he's legit 6'9".
I'm not going to go with that.
All right. Sometimes you forget he's listed at 6'9".
There we go. I like that much better than Shulman.
You're such a skeptic. Poplar, no. Tip by O'Meara. Miller's got it. Pack deep in the corner for 3.
And you may as well call that a layup. Nijel Pack with that much space off of a second chance opportunity. He's going to knock that down more times than not.
Love waits for the ball screen from Baycott. Carolina moving the ball. Had a good assist percentage on Saturday against Clemson. Davis a little short. Tipped out by Nance. Love. Yes.
Forgive the pun, but I love the way Caleb has approached this game to start it off. We've seen him attacking off the bounce, finding his teammates. We've seen him knock down a 3, and then going to the mid-range, calling his own number on the last possession.
Off to a good start. He's got a 3 and a 2. 5 of Carolina's 9 in the early going. Poplar baseline. It looked like he kind of lost it in the palm of his hand on the way up. To take us to the first media timeout of the night. Tied at 9.
Off the court hangout leading to on the court chemistry. Corey, have you seen it translate so far tonight?
I absolutely have seen it translate, Dre, and a lot of it has to do with the sharing of the basketball with this North Carolina team, and it starts with Caleb Love, especially when he's attacking the paint. But there wasn't a lot of love shared between Armando Baycott and Caleb yesterday, simply because Armando's an Eagles fan,
yeah.
and he was letting you know about that earlier.
Yeah, we uncovered a little controversy. So Baycott's a huge Eagles fan. I said it looked like Love was really getting on you. Is he a big Chiefs fan or something? And Baycott said, I never heard him mention the Chiefs once until last night.
We got to give Caleb some love. He's from the state of Missouri, and of course the Rams left him, so now he can claim the Chiefs.
He gets a pass. Speaking of passes, Love finds Puff Johnson in the corner, but Johnson misses the 3.
But still, the extra pass, getting a great shot instead of a good shot. Caleb Love could have absolutely taken that shot, but moving it to Puff is what Hubert Davis wants to see. And, of course, Jim Larrañaga always wants to see Isaiah Wong going into his bag.
How many guys can make baskets in as many different ways as Isaiah Wong?
He is the best tough shot maker, maybe in college basketball, not just in the ACC.
Marco Dunn in off the bench along with Puff Johnson for Carolina. Baycott up top, 8 to shoot. Dunn. Baycott's going to have to put up a 3 with the shot clock running down, and it'll be Miami ball.
And right now, of course, you never mind Armando Baycott being the guy that you play through on the perimeter. But the short span of time that Norchad O'Meara was on the bench, that would have been one where you would expect it to get the basketball into Five's hands, with Anthony Walker having to guard it.
13-9 to Miami in the early going. The Hurricanes again on a 4-game winning streak. They have beaten Virginia Tech on the road at Clemson. blew out Duke a week ago tonight, 81-59, and then actually struggled some with Louisville over the weekend. We're only up 1 at the half before pulling away a little bit in the second half and winning 93-85.
Yeah, Coach Larry not really happy about their defensive effort as Ellis went off for 33, but still, you'd rather not play well in the loss than play well and lose the game.
Well, coming up later on tonight after our game, into the Big 12 we go to Lubbock. It'll be number 6 Texas taking on Texas Tech. The Longhorns 1 game up on top of the Big 12 ahead of Kansas and Baylor. You can see that game at 9 Eastern on ESPN and streaming on the app. Ainsley Joseph in off the bench for Miami. Misses the elbow jumper. Love into some traffic, forces it up, but he does draw the foul.
And this is when Caleb Love is at his absolute best, when he's getting downhill, putting pressure on the defense, attacking the rim, because he is a very capable passer. And so it doesn't always have to be for his own offense. Oftentimes he finds his teammates with great looks. And that foul was assessed on Norchad Omier. And he's acted like, no, that wasn't on me. That shouldn't have been called on me. If it's on him, it's his second. And it looks like it's on him, and he's probably going to be coming out, and that is a major loss. O'Mear's been playing as well as any big guy in the conference recently. He absolutely has, and you see Jim Larinaga not happy about that call. Also not happy about the fact that Norchad Omier put himself in that position. And again, a young man who is still learning, of course, from Nicaragua, the first college basketball player, scholarship college basketball player from Nicaragua. And he has improved by leaps and bounds throughout this season alone at Miami. So the biggest guy Miami's got on the floor right now is Anthony Walker, 6'9", 215. But Armando Bacot just went to the bench for Carolina. The freshman Jalen Washington is in for the Heels. Wong. A little bit too strong. And look at the elevation there by Miller for the rebound. Scoops it up and in, and a chance for an and one. A young man who Jim Larinaga refers to as the most underrated player in America, Jordan Miller, continues to be productive in his time on the floor, coming up with the offensive rebound, and then patience allows him to spin the right-hand layup, the finish, and an opportunity for the and one. He's been in double figures in 19 consecutive games. And he's well on his way again. He's already got 7 here in the first 8 minutes of this one. Boy, that's some speed, both by Love offensively and Joseph defensively. Johnson baseline. It won't stay down, and Miller down with a rebound. Indecision, Dan. He was caught between whether he should dunk it or lay it up. Walker in and out. Rebound, Leaky Black. Love pulls up inside the arc and left it short. Tipped by Black into the hands of Johnson, and this time he'll finish. And that effort on the offensive glass has the students and everybody here for the Dean Dome a bit fired up. Carolina back within 4. Wong curls, gets inside, has it altered, and it's Carolina ball. Numbers. And a missed 3 by Dunn. Miami ball as we go to break. 16-12, Canes up on the heel.
Sharing the basketball on Saturday against Clemson.
He talked about how his team was playing with a great sense of joy. He talked about how much fun they were having, and a lot of it was because they were sharing the basketball, making the next pass, making the right play. And when you play that way, oftentimes things go well for you. Caleb Love making the right play, getting out in transition, finding DeMarco Dunn. Although the shot does not go down, it builds for later.
Miller trying to back down Puff Johnson. Turnaround fadeaway, not there. The rebound to R.J. Davis. One of the things Jim Larinaga preached today at shoot-around is get back on defense. He does not want to see what he calls 5-second layups from the Tar Heels tonight.
And that's one of the things that you often see from North Carolina. They push after makes and misses. It's a staple of this program. And again, even though they're not a great shooting team, still always at the top of the ACC in scoring.
Just 1 for 8 from three-point range tonight. Not a good three-point shooting team on the season. The Heels 31.4%, second last in the ACC. Bacot back in for Carolina. He's got a major size advantage on Anthony Walker with Omier on the bench. Pull up by Love is good. He's got 8, Corey.
He's got 8 of the 14, and he's been so under control. And even when he's not scoring, he has the 1 assist for North Carolina throughout this first half.
Back within 2, but not for long as they find Miller on the back door, and he's got 9.
That's one of the areas of concern when you're playing against Miami. All 5 guys on the floor are capable of scoring at any given time, so you can't just key on one guy.
And you talk about a team that always willingly shares the basketball. The Hurricanes are that. Davis, nice little hesitation, step and go, and he lays it in for his first points of the night. This is Harlan Beverly off to Walker. Driving on Bacot, but he shuffled his feet.
Haven't talked much about Armando Bacot on the offensive end of the floor. Of course, comes in averaging 17.6, only 2 points tonight, but they're helping so much. It's going to open up opportunities for other players, and North Carolina can make sure they don't have tunnel vision on Bacot trying to get him the basketball when other guys are open.
He's averaging better than 17 a game, 3rd in the ACC on the season. Love a miss here, and it's down to Harlan Beverly. Puts it up. Too strong, and Black the rebound. Black off the glass and good, and it's tied. And that move by the 5th-year senior has got him on their feet here at the Dean Dome. Boy, you got to do a good job to stay in front of Nijel Pack, and Caleb Love did a good job staying in front of him. Now Davis in transition. Love from the wing. Rebound Miller.
Another great look in transition. North Carolina's gotten a number of those throughout the day, and if you're Hubert Davis, you like those shots, even though it's not a great three-point shooting team.
Get out on Nijel Pack on limited range. Bensley Joseph. Yes. And Miami back on top as that'll quiet the crowd.
Bensley Joseph only shooting about 27% from beyond three-point range in ACC play, but a much better shooter than his numbers suggest, and showing it off right there on the last possession.
Very strong defensive guard as well. Davis by Pack. Scoops it up and in. Joseph again, and wide left.
Jim Larrañaga never likes to, put handcuffs on his players as far as offensively, but I'm not sure that's the shot he wanted to see from Bensley Joseph at that moment.
And now reach around foul called on Walker, who's got his hands full trying to deal with a Bacot down low. Good game here at the Dean Dome. Roy Williams Court in the Dean E. Smith Center, and Roy's feeling it tonight, Corey.
Roy got the swag surf going. Okay, Roy. Living his best life today, taking on his hometown of Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, what a good game it was last night, huh? Right down to the wire. Oh, and Nance and Bacot can't connect. Carolina turnover. For Miami, Norchad Omier remains on the bench. Picked up 2 fouls about 7-8 minutes in. Now A.J. Casey, a 6'9" freshman from Chicago, is in at the 5 spot, if you will, for the Hurricanes. And that's him battling for the ball, but he loses the battle. So it looks like Jim Larrañaga is going to try to get to halftime without bringing Omier back in again. Caleb Love again.
And then I believe that's the best move when you look at the conversation between Omier and Larrañaga on the way out of the game after getting that second foul. You can tell that Jim Larrañaga may not trust Omier to not get that third here in the first half.
Love into double figures for Carolina now with 10. Little shot fake, the kick from Pack. And a corner three not there for Poplar, out of bounds to the heels. ACC Big 12 Super Tuesday doubleheader starting in the ACC just down the road in Durham. The Irish are there, take on the Blue Devils, and then number 5 Kansas is in Stillwater. Remember, the Cowboys just about beat Kansas at the Fog a few weeks ago. Nice doubleheader tomorrow night on ESPN and streaming on the app.
Also, Mike Gray making the return to where he started his college coaching career as Armando Bacot gets his second field goal to go, but go back to Mike Gray in his last season at Notre Dame, was assistant coach for Coach K at Duke many years ago.
Carolina now 10 out of 13 from 2-point range, just 1 out of 10 from 3-point range. Wong, good defense by Leaky Black, out of bounds, still Miami ball.
That's almost like saying the sky is blue. Good defense from Leaky Black. You're talking about one of the best defenders in the college basketball game.
And you like him on Isaiah Wong.
I love him guarding Isaiah Wong. Again, Isaiah Wong is the best offensive player for Miami. You put your best defender on him.
Pack lays it in, and Miami back within 1. Boy, between Pack and Wong, they've got 2 gifted scorers in the backcourt.
They absolutely do. And again, when you put Leaky Black on one of those guys, the other one's going to look to take advantage. Hubert Davis told us earlier he wished he could chop Leaky up and push more on 5 guys.
Bacot the kick. Inside 10 to shoot. Davis drives. Soft off the glass and in.
I believe R.J. Davis subscribes to the Corey Alexander School of Defense, which is my offense is my best defense.
Another underrated guy, averaging almost 16 points per game. Wong with a great shot fake. Steps in and buries it. Boy, that's pretty.
It really is. And again, you have to honor his ability to stretch it from beyond the 3-point arc. Leaky Black flying after helping out. Along with a smart decision to go to the mid-range.
Back and forth we go here at the Dean Dome. Love somehow finds his way to the rim, and he's got a dozen.
But Dan, we've seen North Carolina's guards find their way to the rim relatively easily against this Miami defense.
Poplar rejected by Nance. Ball still loose, and it belongs to the heels. Deflected and stolen by Pack, and back come the Canes. Miller for 3. Well, you gotta like the pace.
Well, you love the pace, but you also love the poise from Miami. With everything going against them, they never get rattled.
Miller, good job by Nance to stay in front of him, but then Pack knocks down a 3 to tie it up. He's got 8.
And think about that. That's a 5-point swing. North Carolina was on a fast break with an opportunity to score a layup. Nijel Pack comes up with the steal and then the 3 on the other end.
I tell you, you got to be in good shape to play in this one tonight. Terrific pace. Long stretches without a whistle. Good deep position by Bacot, and a foul going against Miami.
We've got great bigs in this game, but we're going to talk about the guards. R.J. Davis attacking the bucket with the easy finish. However, Isaiah Wong, the pull-up, the mid-range is true, and we've got a great guard matchup.
Coming up on a Jeep halftime report, we lean into the ACC, talk some surprise teams. Also, a pair of sublime matchups in the Big 12 to look ahead to. Looking at this one, though, Fonz, punch, counter punch. It's been good. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I love the poise that Caleb Love is playing with. I'm often critical of him because he's such a talented player, and sometimes he forces himself on the game. He's not, Seth. He's making great decisions with the basketball and taking terrific shots. He's got 12 in the first half.
It's rough hanging out with 2 Notre Dame guys. I'll tell you one thing. I love the spacing that Miami plays with. Corey Alexander, you would be good in that Miami system.
Coach, I would have loved to play for Jim Larrañaga, and I know you guys go way back from your days of being on the same staff at the University of Virginia under Terry Holland. But Coach Larrañaga talked to us today about the fact that he doesn't limit his guards especially. He allows his guys to guard and have freedom. because that's the way he wanted to play when he was a player at Providence College.
Let's be honest, he made your day. I asked him about that, the freedom, and he goes, I played. And then he looked at you and he said, you know, and you were so happy when he brought you in on the conversation.
Well, that was only the recovery when his wife said that she mutes me when she sees me on TV.
You can't win them all. Dan Schulman, Corey Alexander, Andrea Carter here in Chapel Hill. Beverly, no. Followed by Miller. No, and Nance down with a rebound. Caleb Love on the bench for the first time tonight. Seth Trimble is coming to the game for Carolina. Bacot splits the defense and lays it in.
And he works so hard to get position, and you've got to give Armando Bacot a lot of credit. Even when he's not getting the basketball, he's constantly working to put himself in a position to get the ball in his hands to help his team.
And taking advantage of the fact that Omier has been on the bench for a while with 2 fouls.
And if you're Jim Larranaga, you have to be happy about the fact that where you are without Omier.
Walker, no. Trimble the rebound. Trimble the crossover all the way. And Wong down with a rebound. Miami looking to push. Boy, that's a sweet little pass in traffic from Wong into Walker.
And they're going to get the and one. It's going to be a foul and an opportunity to tie this game for Anthony Walker. And it was a late foul, but at the same time, really an unnecessary one. The beautiful find by Isaiah Wong and the patience, the poise. Once again, Fonz talked about it. And just dropping it off to Walker. And I believe they're going to get Leaky Black for that foul. It's going to be a wasted one on Leaky.
Walker cannot convert, so it's still a 1-point lead. Black now to the bench. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Tyler Nickel, a freshman from Harrisonburg, Virginia, number 24 into the game for Carolina for the first time. Spin by Bacot. Follow, no basket. No basket. Foul before the tip-in by Bacot. They'll get Walker for the foul, his second.
We talked about Armando Bacot, how hard he works, and this time spinning misses really what would have been an easy layup, but I believe Isaiah Wong may have gotten his hand on the basketball and blocked shot there, but Bacot continues to pursue it on the offensive glass.
Wednesday on ESPN2 in the app. How about this matchup out of the SEC? Number 1 Alabama, number 10 Tennessee from Knoxville. I just saw Alabama in person down at Auburn on the weekend. Boy, are they good and playing at a high level right now. They are the number 1 ranked team in the nation right now. Purdue dropped from 1 to 3 after its loss to Northwestern over the weekend.
Got Brandon Miller playing great basketball for Alabama. I mean, again, it doesn't get any better, and it doesn't get any better than Isaiah Wong and what he does. We talked about him continuing to make tough shots.
If a game of force breaks out, I'll take him. You can have the field. Tied at 32.
So you look at North Carolina offensively, and everyone is trying to get the basketball to Bacot, but other guys are open when he draws so much attention.
Again, the spin, and again the finish for Bacot. Bacot up to 10 now as Omier continues to look on. I mean, as you said, that's a layup. Heels on the logo, no problem.
You're talking about a 42% career three-point field goal shooter. This dude is elite from beyond the arc.
Davis the kick. Nickel in the corner. 3 bounces on the rim before it falls off. And now Miami can effectively hold for the final shot of the half. And Jim Larranaga is going to use the timeout. We are back in 30. Good one here in Chapel Hill. The Canes with the ball and a 1-point lead.
Ooh, we're firing up the Chewy app. Can't say no to these prices. Clumping litter? Resounding yes. Salmon pate? Love that for me. Essentials? Check. Ooh, we have enough to splurge on catnip toys. We did it. I feel so accomplished. Pet Pet me, please. Okay, that's enough. Now back to me time. Love you.
Great prices, happy pets. Chewy.
Close game, good game here at the Dean Dome. Dan Schulman, Corey Alexander, Andrea Carter. Carolina, right now, Joe Lunardi's got them as an 11 seed. In, but not safe. They need a big win. This would be a nice win if they can find a way to pull it off.
They absolutely do, and they're 11-1 on their home court. They only lost to Pittsburgh here, and a great opportunity to be able to get it. They're not the same team on the road, so whenever they have an opportunity to get a big win here in the Dean Smith Center, they have to take advantage of it.
And for Carolina, Armando Bacot walking to the locker room, walking by Roy Williams and everybody else. We'll try to get you an update on that. Miami, of course, they're having another very strong season. 20-5, ranked 15. Joe Lunardi's got them as a 5 seed right now. They have really put together some quality wins this year. About a 2-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Defending Pack. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And had a foul, had 2 fouls to give. So there's one of them right now. So they let a lot of time run off the clock, and we could see another one of those coming.
It's a smart play. However, if you're Hubert Davis, you may want to substitute if you're going to waste fouls like that. Those fouls could be valuable for R.J. Davis later in this game. Now Seth Trimble will go over and guard Nijel Pack, expecting for him to be the guy with the basketball in his hand.
It'll be Puff Johnson to give the foul, but only 0.4 seconds came off the clock there, so that uses up.
Jordan Miller taking a little exception to that foul by Puff Johnson. And it's got to be quite a bit. Jordan Miller, of course, one of the guys, you talk about personalities, he's one of the best. Not really sure. Wasn't a lot there to me.
Miller fell down. Carolina with a steal, and Wong knocked it away. What a defensive play by Isaiah Wong, denying Trimble in his effort to lay it in. And it'll be Miami walking to the locker room with a 1-point lead at halftime here on the road.
Great play by Isaiah Wong, getting back. It's the second time we've seen that.
Didn't score, no rebounds, so they are looking for big minutes from him in the second half. Let's go to Dre.
Thanks, Dan. Well, I caught up with Coach Hubert Davis coming out of halftime. He said the biggest issue in the first half was the 11 second chance points allowed. He said, we're the #1 defensive rebounding team in the conference. That can't happen. I also asked him about the big threes canceling each other out in that first half with Norchad Omier coming back for Miami. He said someone has to step up for North Carolina as well.
And Armando Bacot tried to go right at Omier on their first possession, but that's like running into a brick wall when Bacot lost the ball.
It really is, and that's one of the reasons why Jim Larinaga was so upset about Omier getting that last foul, because it wasn't one that he really earned. But we see Jordan Miller continuing to be successful when he gets the basketball in his hand.
He's got 11 now into double figures for the 20th consecutive game. Love had a nice first half for Carolina. Good hedge, and then Omier gets back to defend Bacot. Davis has to force it up, and it's well short. Miller in transition, lays it in again, and what a nice start in the second half for Miami. See what the Carolina response is here. Bacot getting down to the post. Omier follows him, and we got a block on Wooga Poplar. Dre, you got an update on Bacot?
Yeah, Dan, just something to keep an eye on. You all saw Armando Bacot go into halftime a little earlier than the rest of the team. I was told that his back was a little tight, so they were working on his back at halftime. Was also told that he should be good to go, but especially going against Norchad Omier and all that strength, Corey, that you talked about. Keep an eye on how Armando's moving.
Absolutely, Dre. That was the first thing I thought of when you said back, and having to deal with Omier on the block can be a challenge when you're healthy.
And now Now Baycott is grimacing and shaking his left wrist as he gets back down the court on defense. You got to feel for the guy. Well-documented ankle injuries, had a shoulder injury earlier this year, had a thumb injury in the Miami game last year. Guy plays as much and plays as hard as anybody. But unfortunately for him, it often seems like he's dealing with something.
Well, as a guard, I often have a bunch of friends in the game who played what they like to call in the trenches. And they tell me I wasn't tough enough to play in the trenches. But Leaky Black showing that he's more than tough enough to get into the trenches and get a bucket for the Heels.
A much-needed bucket for the Heels. Black now with 6, 3-point lead, Canes. Leaky Black on Isaiah Wong. Again, putting some size on Wong. Wong into O'Meara. And O'Meara stuffed. Well, Miami doing a nice job, though, getting back in transition. Love into the paint, and he draws the foul.
Armando Baycott continues to battle on the offensive glass, but you see his left wrist, lower arm getting caught up with Norchad Omier. We've talked about how strong Omier is, and you see these two guys matched up beside each other. Baycott absolutely has the height advantage, but when it comes to strength, I'm not sure there's anyone in the ACC stronger than Norchad Omier. And, of course, having a conversation between the two, but difficult to officiate both of these players.
One-point game. Little 4-0 here for Carolina, and the fans getting louder with the Dean Dome. Miller got the switch. Miller driving on Baycott, spins back to his left, and is fouled. And a left-handed player, so he got back to his strong side. Davis wants a look. And let's take a look at some former McDonald's All-Americans. Armando Baycott in 2019, R.J. Davis 2020, Caleb Love as well. How about that? Carolina with 80 McDonald's All-Americans since 1977.
And then I've been fortunate enough to call the McDonald's All-American game for the past 6 seasons, but we actually haven't had one. So Caleb Love, R.J. Davis did not have an opportunity to play in a McDonald's All-American game, even though they were McDonald's All-Americans. Armando Baycott, Cole Anthony, and that crew, the last McDonald's All-American game, which will be back late March in Houston, Texas this year.
Boy, Love had a good look. He's 4 for 5 from 2-point range tonight, just 1 for 6 from 3-point range. Coming off a game against Clemson Saturday in which he knocked down 6 3-pointers. Doesn't need a lot of space, doesn't need a lot of time.
And, when you look at the two transfers for Miami, they complement each other so well because Nijel Pack is so great at shooting off screens, and I don't think anyone sets better screens than Norchad Omier.
Nance traveled. Boy, he's having a tough time getting going. Nance has not scored tonight. He is 0 for 3 from the field. Saturday against Clemson, 0 for 7 from the field in 19 minutes of action. And he is a good shooter. He is just in a bit of a rut right now.
He really is. And one of the things we talked with Hubert Davis about pregame was going with a smaller lineup. Puff Johnson coming in and playing that 3-4 position, moving Leaky Black down, and Puff now at the scorer's table ready to check in.
Boy, Pack is crafty. He made everybody think he was going to dish it or go left, and he wound up with an uncontested layup, and it's the biggest lead of the night for the Hurricanes. Love into Baycott, and he'll draw the foul. But a good start in the second half here for Miami. They were up 1 at halftime. They're now up 8 on the Heels.
That he ever took. Corey, we pay homage to those guys and their focus, their stick-to-it attitude. So we say thank you. And also, North Carolina says thank you to Mr. Willie Cooper because his daughter, Tanya, played for the North Carolina team that won the national championship in 1994.
Wow, that's big time right there. And of course, whenever you think North Carolina basketball, you also think about Charles Scott, the first black player to ever play varsity basketball. And, you go back and you look at the stories and talk to Charles Scott about the fact that Dean Smith took him to church on his recruiting visit, and that's what won him over there.
Unpopular call here at the Dean Dome. Speaking of Dean Smith, here at the Dean Dome as Armando Bacot is called for the foul, his second. Boy, Norchad Omier not only doesn't mind the contact, he seeks out the contact.
And I'm sure this is a matchup that Omier was looking forward to. You go up against Armando Bacot, who really is the standard for post players in the ACC. And now an opportunity to stay on the floor a little longer here in the second half.
Omier transfer from Arkansas State, the Sun Belt Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year a season ago. Miller defended by Puff Johnson. Can't finish the reverse, and it's Carolina ball.
One of the things that you and I both will appreciate, Dan, Norchad Omier was a baseball player in his early life in Nicaragua. Of course, growing to 6'7" and massive. We don't even know what the number is as far as the weight, but transitioning over to the basketball court.
And maybe he winds up as an NFL tight end in a few years. He could do that.
Just cover all three sports.
Logan Poplar, another Miami player, also played a lot of baseball growing up. Boy, good help there by Omier, and he recovers well. Shot clock at 5. Black has to get off a tough shot, and down with the rebound is Omier.
Small thing right there, but Leaky Black actually got Beverly in the air.
I tell you, man, he's got it. We talked about it before the game. He's got a lot. Jordan Miller's got a lot of tools in the toolbox. He can hurt you a lot of different ways.
And he's got great footwork in the painted area. Again, he's not the athlete that's going to jump over top of people, so he goes around guys and maneuvers around them.
6'9", long, left-handed.
You've been handing out a lot of 6'9s to 6'7 guys today.
Numbers for Miami, and what a defensive play by Davis. It'll stay with the Canes, but a great hustle to prevent a layup.
It's great hustle by R.J. Davis. Also great hustle by Jordan Miller, running the floor, great hands to catch it, and then recognizing he's going to go up and under, and not in the conventional sense, but using that great footwork to get a bucket.
Back with a shot fake, and then a sweet dish. Omier rejected from behind by Bacot. Davis in transition. 48-40 Miami. Driving right at Bacot, who turned his back on him, it looked like, but gets called for the foul, his third.
But it's the right call, Dan, and the reason being, if you're going to be in the restricted area to defend a shot, you have to jump. So as Armando Bacot turns his back, he pretty much gives Nijel Pack the opportunity to create the contact and get the free throw.
Obviously, there's no legal guarding position there for Armando Bacot.
And again, had that play happened outside of the restricted area, there's probably no call. But in that 3-foot, 4-foot area, however large the diameter is, it is going to be a foul if you don't leave the floor.
So Pack at the line, first team All Big 12 a year ago with Kansas State. Put 35 points up on the Jayhawks, 32 on Iowa State. And earlier this year against Virginia Tech, scored 17 points in 5 minutes and 8 seconds.
I was watching that game live, and when I tell you, when very few guys can get hot the way Nijel Pack can get hot, and he can shoot it, they step across half court.
And Jim Larinaga said the best thing of all, Omier joins the team, Pack joins the team. They become like best friends. Pack and Isaiah Wong hit it off right away. Just a real selflessness and camaraderie on this Miami team. Beverly trying to corral it, finds Pack, and he lays it in. Nijel Pack now at 20 court.
And a great play by Harlem Beverly getting back as Puff Johnson lines up the three, unable to finish it. But that camaraderie and that chemistry you talked about with Miami, you've got to give the young guys and new guys a lot of credit, but more credit goes to the returning players who welcome these guys with open arms, especially after being an Elite Eight team last year.
Lost some good players. Cam McGusty, Sam Wardenberg. Hubert Davis is not happy. Probably not happy with the way his team is playing right now. Probably not happy with the whistle a little bit right now. And there's evidence of that. And Miami has stretched out a 1-point lead at the break to a 12-point lead now on the strength of a 13-2 run. Let me give you a Carolina stat. They're shooting 70% from two-point range tonight and 7%, 1 for 15 from three-point range.
And especially when you consider coming off a game where they made 15 three-pointers on a season-high 33 attempts just 2 days ago.
And an offensive foul, Norchad Omier. And the signal from Paul Sells, one of the officials, is that he grabbed the jersey of Armando Bacot. That'll be the third on Omier.
See Omier trying to get that post position. Hard to see from that angle. It must have been with the left hand that he grabbed the jersey.
What does Carolina have to do to get going at the offensive end?
Well, one of the things they've got to be able to do is get the basketball in the hands of Bacot, especially now with Omier on the bench. Armando Bacot has to be more of a force inside with Anthony Walker having to defend him.
He has not attempted a shot here in the second half. He's 4 for 5 on the night, just as he was at halftime. Woo! And they got him for the offensive foul. And two officials simultaneously blowing the whistle and making the call.
And Bacot headed immediately to the bench. That's going to be his 4th foul. So you see the action here as Bacot drops that left shoulder. Anthony Walker never moves, so makes him in legal guarding position, absorbs the contact. A turnover, and with 12 minutes remaining, Bacot having to take a seat.
Long again with Leaky Black on him. Pulls up inside the arc. And just short. Black down to the rebound. Love. Misses the 3 and the rebound down to Beverly.
And I believe that Caleb Love is going to have to be more aggressive at this point, but I don't think it's going to be shooting the 3. I think he's going to have to find a way to get downhill, get to the basket, find his teammates, because right now Miami is finding their way to the rim.
Yeah, it's going well for the Canes in the second half. Welcome back to Chapel Hill. Let's take a look at an upcoming Sonic blockbuster. It'll come to you at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central. From Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas, another big-time matchup of the Big 12. Number 9 Baylor. They have really turned it around after a bit of a valley early run in the season. And KU is 5th in the nation. Jalen Wilson, likely first-team All-American, I would think, averaging better than 20 points per game. Cannot wait to get to Lawrence for that one on Saturday.
Okay, so now I'm going to put you on the spot. You have done games in all the big arenas and all the right places. The most exciting atmosphere to do a game in college basketball would be Kansas. Yeah, we talked earlier, and I didn't ask you the question, and I wanted a way to put you on the spot on air.
Appreciate that. There goes your ride home. So, Leaky Black knocks down a 3.
And a necessary shot. Leaky Black turned down a 3 earlier where he was wide open on the opposite side. He's going to have to take those shots to keep the defense honest.
Now, let me tell you, in an interest to still have friends around the country. Duke is great. Indiana's great. Purdue is great. On and on. There's so many great players. What about you?
I would have to say the toughest place, the loudest arena that I've heard is Anthony Walker steps up and knocks down a jumper. The loudest arena that I've heard calling a game is when the University of Virginia visits Virginia Tech.
You and I did that game last year.
Absolutely.
I agree with you 100%. The loudest place I've been in years.
And they get rowdy in the castle. Yeah. You know, of course, Virginia has a great atmosphere.
I'll tell you, being down at Auburn on the weekend, that place it's a perfect size. It's great. Let's bring in Dre.
Corey, I'm just curious. You mentioned the place that's the loudest when you're calling a game, but let's go back, I don't know how many years, but back when you played, loudest, toughest place to play, what was it?
Absolutely, by far, Cameron Indoor Stadium. It wasn't even close. And way back then, you know, in the Stone Ages, as you like to put out there, Dre. Caleb Love with a necessary bucket right now, but the difference is, Dan, North Carolina unable to get stops, and that's been the biggest difference. They were great defensively against Clemson, Miami having no parts of that.
And again, they're going to have to do it for a while without Armando Bacot. If you're just joining us, he is on the bench with 4 fouls. And this one going against Miami. Little momentum shift here in the last couple of minutes inside the Dean Dome.
You know, and back to Dre's question, talking about atmospheres, did you get an opportunity at all on yesterday, to see the South Carolina atmosphere with LSU coming in, both teams undefeated to start that game?
Yes, I did. Just a little in the first half, I did, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Guys, I had South Carolina. We had game day when Tennessee was in the house, another sold-out crowd. It gets loud in Colonial Life Arena. Like this. It gets loud like this in Colonial Life Arena.
Carolina's got it down to 9. Getting pretty loud here right now, my friends. Again, though, this is an experienced, poised Miami team. And look at that backdoor feed, but Nance with a rejection on Beverly. Davis. Tip no good, and it's Miami ball. But not for long. Jim Larinaga incensed, and he just called a timeout. He is not happy.
Of course, as you're learning this game growing up, there are a number of cardinal sins in the game of basketball, and one of them is you never save the ball underneath your opponent's basket. That time, Harlem Beverly saving it under North Carolina's basket, and an assist to Leaky Black, whose bucket makes it a single-digit game as North Carolina's on a 7-0 run.
Leaky Black having a nice game, 11 points, 8 rebounds. Carolina back within 9. And again, out of the timeout, still no Bacot, got 4 fouls. Davis can't get the shot off. 3 on the shot clock. Love. Rebound down to Miller, Miami running. A foul and a bucket for Jordan Miller, who continues to have a great night. He's going to the line looking for his 20th point.
I'm going to go as far as to say this may be the slowest transition offense and slowest transition defense I've seen in a very long time. Jordan Miller really playing one-on-one with R.J. Davis, and with the size advantage, just gets to his spot and is able to finish through the contact.
So you don't call that a fast break, Buck?
No, we'll call it a slow break. We'll just go slow break on that.
Miller with 20, Pack with 20. 2 of them combining for 40 of Miami's 59.
And even without Wong and Omier having big games, which you would expect from this Miami team, they're still able to compete because they can get scoring and production from so many different players.
Puff Johnson. Bensley Joseph elevating for the rebound. Omier cannot handle it, and the Hurricanes give it right back to the heels. Well, Thursday night, the 19th ranked Tar Heel women square off in a rivalry game against NC State, 8 o'clock Eastern on the ACC network. This will be the second game of a women's basketball doubleheader. Syracuse and Florida State getting it started at 6 Eastern.
And let me tell you, Reynolds Coliseum will be rocking when the Tar Heels come into that building.
Johnson will try another one, and Carolina still struggling. They are now 2 for 21 from three-point range.
Hubert Davis told us this is not making 15 threes. That's not who they are. But yet, 21 attempts throughout this game. Many of those, oftentimes, you could have gone to the paint and tried to get something different than two-point range.
They are 306th in the nation out of 363 Division I teams in three-point percentage. Omier tries one. Black down with a rebound. Good defense. They are the Hurricanes are staying in front of their guy, aren't they?
They absolutely are. There's a complete contrast to what we saw in the first half, where North Carolina's guards were able to get into the painted area whenever they wanted.
And a held ball is the call, and the possession arrow is going to give it to Miami. So that little run Carolina was on. Shooting Carolina just 2 for 22. And Isaiah Wong, quiet night by his standards. Norchad Omier, quiet night by his standards. But Jordan Miller and Nijel Pack making a lot of noise.
Yeah, and the reason why it's been a quiet night for Isaiah Wong is because he may have the best defender in the ACC guarding him in Leaky Black, who held Hunter Tyson to 1 of 2 from the field on Saturday. You're talking about possibly a first-team All-ACC performer. Leaky Black completely took him out of the game, but the difference for Miami, they've had other guys step up.
Leaky Black also did a great job on Brandon Miller, possible first-team All-American, Alabama's outstanding freshman. That was back in November. Omier short on the jumper, but he got it back and missed on the follow.
And it's been that type of night for Omier. Just hasn't been able to get going, missing most of the first half with foul trouble, unable to find any rhythm on the offensive end of the floor.
Carolina with just 47 points, and again, just 2 for 22 from three-point range. Davis will try one. Not there. Davis gets it back and knocks it down. 10-point game, just over 6 minutes to go. But as we were talking about during the break, it's tough to knock Miami off their game. They're experienced. They're a cohesive unit. They just keep doing what they do.
And the reason is because they have great guard play. When you look at Isaiah Wong, who, of course, as I talk him up, gets a turnover. But when you look at what they have on the floor right now, Bensley Joseph would be a starter on most teams in the ACC. But right now he comes off the bench. Great ball handler because Nijel Pack is such a dynamic player. And when you've got Jordan Miller really as that fourth guard, you're going to be better than most teams, especially in late game situations.
Love puts the brakes on. Black spins into the paint. Gets doubled and kicks it out. Trying to take advantage of Black's height advantage on Wong. Instead, a foul on the drive. Love a chance to go to the line. Got off to a great start tonight. He's got 16 points on the night. Coming up next in the second game of our doubleheader, we'll send you to Lubbock. It'll be number 6 Texas, the leaders in the Big 12, taking on the Red Raiders. 9 o'clock Eastern tonight on ESPN and streaming live on the app.
Dan, you remember not so long ago when Kansas won the Big 12 every year? Mm-hmm. And, of course, a lot of coaching changes, a lot of program changes in the Big 12. And now it's hard for me to say it, but they may have taken over as the best conference in the country. It's hard for me to say that. But right now, the Big 12 is loaded with quality basketball teams.
It sure is. They could get as many as 8 out of the 10 teams into the NCAA tournament. Miller into Omier. Remember, Baycott's got 4. Omier right into his chest and scores with the left hand. Points of the night for Norchad Omier.
But similar to what Baycott was trying to do to Omier earlier, knowing he was in foul trouble, Omier trying to do the same thing to see if he can pick up that 5th on Baycott.
Nance. Turnaround. And it goes. And the first points of the night for Pete Nance. Miami not in a rush. Pack gets out of the trap. And the wing 3 is there for Jordan Miller, having himself one heck of a night. He's now got 23.
He has done it all tonight for Miami, and more importantly, when they've needed it most.
R.J. Davis with the answer at the other end for Carolina. And a timeout taken by Hubert Davis. Back down to single digits, 4:07 to go here in Chapel Hill.
Opportunity to get to know Keontae George a bit. A year ago at the McDonald's All-American game, of course, watched him coming up, and he has blossomed into a great player for Scott Drew. Down at Baylor, a turnover by Wong here. Out of the timeout could be a big momentum shift for North Carolina.
Inside 4 minutes to go. Carolina down by 9 to Miami. Love to the baseline. Floats it up short. Rebound Omier.
You see why I hate floaters?
I'm still trying to figure out the difference between the floater and the runner. I always get that wrong when I'm sitting with you.
When we have more time, we'll go over that.
And is the teardrop a whole different thing?
Whole different area.
Nice crossover by Wong. Poplar steps in, and it's an 11-point lead now for the Hurricanes.
Over with a very popular shot against the Miami bench. Jim Larinaga loving the fact that he went to the mid-range in comparison to over-penetrating.
Davis knocks down another three.
It's down to 8, but North Carolina's got to find a way to get stops on this end of the floor. This is where Miami has been so successful.
Omier gives it up to Poplar. Lots of time. Now 7 to shoot. Pack. Omier. Blocked. Miami ball with 2.2 on the shot clock.
If there's one team that I know is prepared for this scenario, it would be the Miami Hurricanes. Jim Larinaga has a book of plays for this much time.
Long in the corner. Short. Poplar with a rebound and a follow. Huge play for Poplar and the Hurricanes.
It's all about the details. Hubert Davis has talked about it all season long, Dan, the details, and that was not dotting the I's, crossing the T's, finishing the defensive play. No reason for R.J. Davis to get out and try to defend that. He can't help that, but what he does is allow Wiggle Poplar an opportunity to pick up the second chance opportunity, and now the three-point play.
Boy, just a huge play. Back to an 11-point lead, and time definitely a factor now. Tipped by Baycott, gathered by Baycott, and finished by Baycott.
One of the most unbelievable stats that you will see in this game tonight, only the third rebound for Armando Baycott
in 31 minutes on the court.
The ACC's leading rebounder. Nice play defensively by Leaky Black.
Nowhere to go. Love in the corner. Nance the rebound. And deflected out of bounds. Still Carolina ball. A minute 36 to go. Love to inbound with 18 on the shot clock. Black, and it's a 7-point game.
Smart play by Leaky Black, attacking the basket, not settling for the three, putting 2 points on the board.
13 now for Leaky Black. A minute 29 to go, and it's down to 7.
To get a win. This game far from over. You look at a minute and 29 remaining, but Miami is so poised under pressure, and you get an opportunity to look at Joey Brackett's seedings right now for the ACC. North Carolina at an 11 seed, and again, one of the last 4 byes right now. A loss here on their home court could put them into pretty much the play-in round.
Wong to inbound. Miami with a lot of experienced, quality ball handlers on the court. Miller gets it over. And now they'll use a little bit of clock. Pack trying to turn the corner and turns it over. And an inadvertent trip there by Omier is going to send Davis to the free throw line.
Perfectly executed defensive trap by North Carolina. Give Leaky Black, Armando Baycott a tremendous amount of credit. Baycott slid his feet without fouling, cutting off Nijel Pack, and allowing Leaky Black to get back in. Now, this is a big trap. Even though Leaky's not 6'9", he is 6'7", and that's a big trap. R.J. Davis with great anticipation to come up with the steal.
And the conference's leading free throw shooter was at the line. Getting a chance to score without time coming off the clock. Down to 5.
1:10 remaining. A tremendous amount of time. 5-point game. And we've seen Miami lose a couple games down the stretch this season where they haven't handled the late game situations very well. Right now, North Carolina picking it up defensively. We will see that trap once again from Hubert Davis and his team when they step back on the court.
A 6-0 run for the Tar Heels over the last 59 seconds. Now we take a look at the Capital One rewarding performance. And Jordan Miller has had it going on in a lot of different ways all night long. You got to love the footwork, and you got to love the way he can score with both the left and the right.
Absolutely, and you may say that his biggest basket of the night was this 3-point field goal, knocking it down on that left wing. When North Carolina was making a run, Jordan Miller stepping up and making big plays for the Canes.
23 to lead the way for Miami. Nijel Pack has 20, but Miami not in the clear yet with 1:10 to go. And Carolina's cut it from 11 down to 5. And obviously pressure coming here from the Heels. Wong to inbound, and good size on the ball for Carolina with Leaky Black. Here's the trap. Wong to Omier. And Omier's going to dribble it over, and Love will foul him to send Omier to the line. Omier is 70% free throw shooter on the season. Miami as a team, a very good free throw shooting team, 77% on the season, 1-1 for Omier. As Nickel comes in for offense, Trimble, who was in there for defense, sits down. As you mentioned, the first ever player from Nicaragua to be a Division I men's scholarship basketball player.
It's fit in perfectly at the U. Big free throw here.
1 of 2, still a 2-possession game with 1 minute to go. Off the fingertips of Love and out of bounds back to the Hurricanes.
And I believe the officials would go, well, no, not going to take a look at this as, that great call. Caleb Love gets that last. Wigga Popular does a great job of getting over, deflecting the basketball.
Looks like the coaching staff for Carolina is asking Kip Kissinger to have a look at it. We're speculating a little bit right now, but the officials seem very confident that it is Miami ball.
Well, you would want that as a coach if you're Hubert Davis, to give you opportunity to draw up something, especially defensively, and how you want your team to execute.
Pack to Omier, and again the foul to send Omier back to the line.
And that's the right guy.
That's number 10, so it's 2 shots now.
But Carolina executing perfectly right now, and of course, this is where extending the game first began. Dean Smith was the coach that learned how to make a last minute of a game go on for a half hour. And so, Hubert Davis, of course, a disciple of Dean Smith, doing that very well right now and getting the right guy, Norchad Omier, at the line. But Omier right now making 2 of his last 3 free throws.
Well, it says something about Miami that the right guy to put at the line from a Carolina perspective is a 70% free throw shooter.
That's very true, and he goes up and knocks down both of them.
The other 4 guys are all even better than that. Boy, what a benefit it is to his team when everybody can shoot free throws. Davis will drive and finish. He's got 20. Pack races it over the timeline. And Black Pack reaches in and fouls him, and Pack will shoot a couple.
That's not the guy you want to send to the free throw line.
86%.
And he is as calm as you get, especially at this phase of the game. Getting to the free throw line, you see Leaky Black. We're right in front of this. It looked like a lot of basketball on this reach. And on the replay, it also looks like a lot of basketball. But Leaky Black not arguing it, so I'll go with it being the right call. I will take no responsibility for that, by the way.
Even though the trick is throwing responsibility as well. 1 of 2, and it's back to 7. Love. Whoa! From way beyond the arc to make it a 4-point game with 34.9 to go.
It is what he does. Caleb Love can have a game where he is shooting terribly from 3. He is 2 for 11 from the game, 1 of 10 before that shot. But he steps up and makes big shots for this team at all times. In the NBA, they keep clutch time points. They don't do it in college basketball. Caleb Love is a 36% shooter in all other times. But in clutch time, I believe he has to be closer to 50%. He makes these shots constantly.
Carolina 20-2 when Love scores 20 or more. He is at 20 right now, but they are still down by 4 with 34.9 to go. That was also the last time out for Hubert Davis.
One of the things right now Hubert Davis has to be cognizant of is knowing who's on the floor and how many fouls they have at this point. We know Baycott has 4, but Love, Davis, and Leaky Black all with 3 fouls as well. You may want to take those guys out of the game because if you're fortunate enough to be able to push this to overtime, you don't want to have to play without one of those guys. So right now with the pressure, you can see if you can come away with the steal, and more importantly, you foul, get your guys back in the game.
So Miami trying to go to 12-4 in league play and extend their winning streak to 5. Carolina trying to pull off what would be an impressive comeback considering they were down 14 not that long ago. They have done a nice job extending this game, but the odds are still against them here. Miami ball up by 4 with 34.9 to go. Again, Wong to inbound for the Hurricanes. Into Pack. And Pack will be going back to the line. And again, if you're Jim Larrañaga, even though he missed one of the 2 moments ago, you're good with this.
You're absolutely good with this. This is the guy that you want to have at the free throw line at this time of the game. You think about this as Nijel Pack's 3rd year of college basketball. He's been here so many times. You're talking about an all Big 12 performer a year ago.
By the way, the 4th foul on Leaky Black. And again, Trimble out, Nickel back in. Boy, what a spot. Imagine if like the final shot of the game came down to a guy who's barely played, just kind of been subbing out, in and out, a possession here, a possession there. Imagine if the ball winds up in his hands.
Tyler Nickel, he's from the Valley. I trust him.
2,909 points, Virginia high school record. He's made some big shots. Davis has made some big shots. Not this time. Wong down with a rebound, and now they'll put Isaiah Wong on the line.
Another guy who's used to being in this spot, finishing off games at the free throw line. And you mentioned earlier, you know, when your worst free throw shooter is a 70% guy, that's a luxury to have for Jim Larrañaga. And the way they've handled this remaining stretch to try to get a big win here on the road.
Better than 700 wins in the storied career of Jim Larrañaga, and a first-time Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame finalist for Jim Larrañaga. We talked about the resume for Carolina. The loss would drop them to 8-7 in the league, 16-10 overall. They are 0-8 in quad one. They will have some opportunities. They're going to Raleigh. They're still going to host Virginia. They will host Duke. They've got a chance to pick up some quality wins. As Davis gets it to go and draws the foul. But this would have been, and it's not over yet, but only 18 seconds left. This would have been a notable win for Carolina, but Miami playing well here on the road, even though a couple of their key guys have been held far below their averages.
And this will be, if North Carolina is unable to make a major comeback here over these next 18.1 seconds, a major lost opportunity for the Tar Heels, knowing that you have Miami coming into this building where you've been great all year and not walking away with a win on your home court.
You're going to see quite an atmosphere in Raleigh on Sunday. Now the foul will send Miller to the line.
You mentioned that atmosphere, and again, North Carolina beat NC State in this building earlier in January. And people can talk about the Duke-North Carolina rivalry all they want, the true rivalry. And when I mean hate, there's a tremendous amount of hatred in Raleigh for these North Carolina Tar Heels. The Wolfpack and the Tar Heels together, it's going to be some passion going on in PNC on Sunday.
Coach Larinaga gets everybody out of the lane, and Miller misses the first. Makes the second, 6-point lead. Love. In and out. Poplar down with a rebound. Fouled by Baycott, who has fouled out of the game. And Miami's 7.8 seconds away from a nice road win. Jim Larinaga clapping his hands right now as he walks up and down the Miami bench.
And Jim Larinaga knows that he has a really good team. And he loves the test when they come in and play in a hostile environment as such against a good team in the North Carolina Tar Heels, and more importantly, walking away with a road win. Nothing more satisfying for a coach. And you talked about Jim Larinaga, top 10 active coaches in Division I basketball, and a big win for his team here tonight.
You know, they beat Duke last week. That makes Coach L, as they call him, 8-9 against Duke as Miami's head coach, and a win tonight will make him 8-10 against Carolina. You go 16-19 in this league against North Carolina and Duke, you're doing pretty well.
And a win here tonight makes him 4-4, 500 record in Chapel Hill. There are very few coaches can say that they were able to do that throughout their career.
The final score here in Chapel Hill, Miami 80 and Carolina 72. Jordan Miller with 24, Nijel Pack with 23 to lead the way as the Hurricanes go to 12-.